Hey everyone, this is the LEGO Icons McLaren MP4 with the late great Ayrton Senna. This set has 693 pieces. It cost me $80 US, and I built it live during a charity stream over on Twitch. Now both the car and the minifigure come with specially built stands with a nice big plaque. We'll look at the minifigure later. From a lower vantage point, you can see that this stand puts the car at an extreme angle towards you, which is a very, very good idea because it's a low, fairly flat vehicle. And whether it's at kind of, let's say, a hip level or a little bit higher up on a shelf on a bookcase or something, you're not going to really be able to see the shape of the car unless it's angled like this. So this was a great idea to include this. I think that it definitely adds a lot to the display value. It's not too complex. It doesn't use too many pieces. It's plenty strong. It does seem a little bit wobbly. So if I move it from here, like, if you have an earthquake, that's going to be happening, but nothing's going to break, that's for sure. It's definitely plenty strong, and yet makes it easy enough to pull the car off. But unfortunately, this here is a large sticker, and the gray color for the backing doesn't even match the color of the updated mold for this large-sized thin ramp piece. They actually changed the mold. It's a more modern take on it. It has a nice texture on the top of it, so they remade that. Good piece underneath. The sticker, Here's how the car comes off the stand. You just pull it straight up here. I did not want these to come out, but it seems to work pretty well. And immediately you can see this has steering. I'm happy to report that the steering is connected to the steering wheel, and it has a pretty significant steering angle there. You know, it's not just a tiny little bit of movement. They did introduce a new wishbone piece, a new A-arm suspension piece, specifically for this set, and also the wheels and tires, which are dual molded together. They're not separate. It's all molded in together, and solid rubber. That's also brand new here. This piece here at the front is also new. There's a tub piece on the inside that's kind of large-ish. It's only been used on a couple other sets for this year. That's indeed new for 2024. So there was a lot of stuff that was introduced in the context of, and at least used by this, and some of it surely introduced for this. Hopefully they will be using those pieces quite a bit again in the future because they do look very useful. And I will say I was pleasantly surprised by how many exclusive prints are included in this set. However, not all decorations are prints. For example, this right here is a sticker, and that's on either side. But then the Shell logo top right here, that's a print. So print there. And then this is a nice print. Yeah, that's nice and smooth and good quality. Maybe not the very best, but pretty darn good. I appreciated that that was done in that way. I think that the construction of this in general was very, very satisfying to me, and feels like they made a great effort to get it to be nice and low. They kind of pat themselves on the back a little bit in the instructions for getting it as low as it is. It doesn't seem like it should be as impossible or should have required quite as many unique custom-ish pieces to make it happen, but it is what it is. And again, I hope that these things like this will be used quite a bit in the future, not just for open wheel cars, but hopefully there's some affordance for it to be used for something that has working suspension, because this does not. It's intended to be just static, but it's nice to again have that room to be able to steer like this. It's, you know, nice and low profile. These slicks, I mean, slicks are a relatively new thing in the LEGO world. We've gotten some slicks before, but at a larger size, not so much. These are very heavy, high quality. They will spin for quite a long time because they have so much mass to them. I've been avoiding talking about this. This is the thing that I personally was looking forward to the least, and I was just prepared for it to be absolutely pink, because LEGO has a really, really bad reputation these days for poor quality prints. Thankfully, it's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. It's pretty white. As a matter of fact, I'd say it's white enough that I would let it pass. I would say it's okay. I want it to be better. It should be bright white, but it's definitely, clearly, obviously much more thick than what they usually do. However, it's the design that's the main problem with this. I hate this design. They were not able to put in the correct shape, and that's not because of Marlboro being a cigarette company and LEGO not wanting to associate with that. It's because of Marlboro being a company that has a trademark on that design. The colors and the shape cannot be used, even by toy manufacturers, without a license. And obviously we were not going to get an official license for it. So even just as a stand-in, they couldn't get the correct shape. But even at that, the fact that these pieces could not be, or this piece, which itself is, like I said, a brand new mold for this year, could not be printed all the way down the side is rough. I would have preferred it to be 2 new molds, white one in the front and just have it be flat, cut off flat, and then a red one back here, because all this red down here messes with things so much and has led to so many complaints about the nose and the fact that it breaks right here, the fact that it has this sudden angle. But the reality is, if this was not red right here, if this was all white from that point right there forward, it wouldn't look nearly as bad. It would look pretty darn good, with the exception of the very obvious blue pin right there, which is very unfortunate. This is a print. Look at that. Not a particularly good print. The white is rather translucent on it, but it surprised me in a good way. I was happy to see that. Inside of here, I don't know if they've updated the sextant piece, that ancient navigation, not ancient, but rather old navigation, maritime navigational device piece there recently, but it's attached in a way that I haven't seen legally used in the past, and it works really well. And you can see the console up front and how you've got a really good direct connection for the steering wheel. The whole seat is built up pretty nicely as well. It's a little bit difficult to see down in there with the black on black on black, but it's built up quite well. There's actually even a short roof piece, like a 4-wide regular car roof piece with the rounded corners. It was used with the Mini Cooper, the Speed Champions Mini Cooper, for example, that's down in there, adding a little extra shape. This is a sticker. This is a sticker right here. Nice opening, nice shaping in here. This is good. This is a version that has the, what do they call them? Not periscopes. I forget what the name was for these in particular, but their intake, they're intended to be ram air intakes for the turbos to direct feed them. It was used for just a short period of time and didn't work so well. All of this shaping around here feels really, really good to me, and felt good to put together, especially the final back of the pods curves here. When those go on, it just, it's very, very satisfying. To me personally, it's something that you just have to experience the process of putting it together. Back here, they have essentially an open diff. There's just no diff whatsoever. There's no gear train, no attempt at a gear train under here, but there is an engine, which I'll show you in just a minute. I want to finish showing you the outside first. Unfortunately, the match of the sticker red here is not that great. It's just a little bit too dark. Recently, they've done red too bright, but this one is too dark. This is a print. It's 2 prints. There's a print here. There's another one underneath. Look at that. It's the whole thing, the whole McLaren logo. And then you get this. So that's 2 separate pieces that are printed differently. I dig it. I like it. I appreciate it. Looking around the back here, I appreciate also how thin the center strut is there. All of the detailing around the back of the gearbox, all the shaping there, I think is pretty good. And the pan is nice and flat. Huge problem with the rear wheels and tires being exactly the same as the front ones. That, for many people, is going to be the biggest problem, the thing that makes this look the least realistic, because the difference on the actual car from front to back, and all the cars during this era, during this period especially, was immense and obvious, super, super, super obvious, even in pictures, even in photographs with perspective, where the front tires are made to look bigger than they really are just because of the angle. Still, the rears look significantly larger, and that's unfortunate. This looks more like a modern, a much newer car, or a lower formula car, from a formula that uses all 4 of the exact same smaller wheels and tires. These are good. Those just unfortunately missed the mark by a significant amount. Yes, I do have to call out both the good things and the bad things that I see here, but getting back to good things. Wait, where's the spot? Here it is. That's the whole thing. Yeah, I could lift it from here. Oh, there's one piece here that accidentally was left behind, but I'll just put that back where it goes. This is fantastic. The very first thing that a lot of people want to point out, even though there's a whole wonderful, amazing engine here, is a reference to the flag of Brazil. Reference to the flag of Brazil. There's another one under there that's much bigger, much larger, much more obvious. But look at this engine, though. Look at this detail. It's so built up. Oh, that wide V6 with twin turbos. Oh, this is lovely. Oh, it's delicious. Absolutely delicious. Lots of the drum lacquered bright silver colored pieces, and just a great level of detail. It was really enjoyable to build this up, even though it's a little bit fragile. Some of these connections, especially for the cheese graters here, they're not connected all that well, but I'm not too worried about it. You know, if it bugs you, you can leave those two pieces off, but still, the fact that this is there is nice. The designer was really trying to make this feel like a large scale model as much as they could. I feel like almost that's what this is going for, rather than trying to go for the feel of a Legoification of the real car. It almost feels like it's trying to go for a Lego substitute for a Tamiya 12th scale model, which would be significantly more expensive or something like that, you know, or a die cast. Just all of the feel of being able to do this, and exactly how you have just that one function for it. I don't know. To me, there's a lot good about this. There's a whole lot good about this. Notice this is printed as well. Unfortunately, they're not able to print the edges. This one doesn't bother me as much for some reason. It just doesn't feel as crucial to the livery of the whole car. But once again, the white, thank goodness, is significantly thicker, more opaque than what they normally do these days. This fits on there. I mean, this fits just right to, you know, it's got the opening to have the hollow. I like it so much. I can't say enough good about this here. It's very satisfying through and through. And even though most of the time most people are going to have the cover on, just knowing that it's there gives you a lot of satisfaction. Gives me a lot of satisfaction. Yeah. And again, it was part of the build experience, which is part of the value of the entire car. Happy with that. Here's what it looks like on the underside of the car. Not a whole lot to see as expected. This is an inverted tile piece here, 2x4, which is important to bring a little bit of extra strength to the front wing, but it's not absolutely necessary. You don't have to have that. It'll hold itself together well enough. And then this one additional one here, I think, can also be pulled off. I think it was more for stability with respect to the stand. And when this is on the ground, it is very low. Maybe it could have been ever so slightly lower, but this is very satisfying to me. I almost wish that you could have a scaled small, at least helmet to put there to make it feel even more real and more alive. This is nice to be able to see from this angle. Although I personally think that from a practical perspective, more frequently you're going to be having it on the stand and want to have it on the stand and at that angle, but there's just something immersive about this low angle as well, you know? Just kind of puts you into the space and draws you in. For me, it sells me a little bit better too. The minifig stand, like the car stand, has a large sticker that's used for the main plaque there with a quote from Ayrton Senna himself. And I believe it's intended for you to be able to attach this either from the front here or from this side. That's why they used I think that's why they used the headlight bricks in the back, even though they weren't necessary, unless that's to connect in a different way. Definitely some options can be used there, but let's take a closer look at the figure itself. What do you think? If you are familiar with Ayrton Senna and what he looks like, what do you think about this? I'm not convinced at all. The thing I was most looking forward to was that helmet. I'll show you the helmet on in just a minute, but the face and the hair together doesn't do it for me. I almost feel like they should have just put a cap on him or something. Instead, the hair doesn't work. The face doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. And then the printing for the torso is exactly what I expected for the large printed red pieces on the car. It's way too thin. That's supposed to be a bright white color. It's nothing close. It's pink. It's poor. It's just poor quality. When you're paying premium prices for premium plastic from a premium European manufacturer, you expect better than that. Certainly for an adult collector model. Is this a better face? Better Legoification of the look of Ayrton Senna? I mean, obviously he didn't smile a whole lot, but when he did he look like that? I feel like this one might be just a little bit closer. They do include a piece here for him to hold on to the helmet. That's good. I almost missed that. Putting it on. Yeah, that's a wonky helmet. That's a very wonky helmet. That's like my R2-D2 helmets. Look at that. Wavy around the side. Part of that is from the shape of the helmet there. You know, just the shape of the plastic physical piece, but not all of it. Very disappointing. I was really, really looking forward to cherishing this helmet, but it's not good. The Lego needs to do better at printing if they're going to be selling high-end collector models, you know, for folks who are really into the subject matter. And that helmet just ain't it. It's just not. The leftover pieces are not too impressive, though you do get a couple of extra drum lacquered bright silver pieces, and this is what the sticker sheet looked like. Yeah, it had some big ones on there. Obviously, the biggest are for the plaques, and the red needed some help, and the white's a little bit off too, but not as bad. Again, the price of this was $80 US. It's 80 euros, 70 pounds UK, or $100 Canadian for 693 pieces with the one minifigure here. I don't think that that's too outrageous of a price, honestly, for a super collector model. I'm very impressed by the amount of detail. It has so much more going on with it. So many more prints than I expected as well. I really don't think that's an outrageous price. Look at the prices of model kits, or even low-end die casts of this kind of size. This is well within the range, reasonably speaking. I thought, just from looking at it from the outside, that for a Lego thing, the amount of stuff that you got isn't quite right for that price, but considering everything that's inside, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. Thankful that this print is not as bad as I thought. I'm thankful that it has more prints than I thought it would. Not happy with the blue here. Really unhappy with the tires. Unhappy with some of the printing issues with the figure color match for the gray for the main plaque sticker. There's a lot of good here. New pieces and stuff. A lot of good here. And a handful of things that are not so good, that I don't enjoy and I'm not happy with. I think overall, from a distance, I'm going to be happy to continue to look at this, but I really want to have a replacement for this one piece here. Out of everything, especially from a distance, this is what messes with all of it the most, by far. Custom printed piece is almost mandatory, I think, for a serious collector who wants to do this car and its legacy and its driver's legacy justice. Otherwise, the rest of it, yeah, the rear tires are definitely too small, but this remains the biggest deal for me. At least it's not as big of a deal as I thought it would be. But all in all, designer did primarily very good, very, very, very good work here, but it needs some additional work. I think if you're a strong enough fan, you'll be willing to do that additional work if you're able. And hopefully the aftermarket will support things as well to help with that. Maybe some people will 3D print some bigger tires for the back and definitely get a replacement for this. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that this provided some value to you as a video, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye for now.